Hello and welcome back to my channel, Supercoach Challenges. Today we'll be looking at some trade targets and specifically in the midfield. So you might have seen my last video that was on defenders. Well, now we'll be talking about the midfielders, some guys to target, and just discuss some overall, moves to be kind of looking at as we move into upgrade season. So top of the list is after his big 182 and now at M1 is Marcus Montepelli. And I think a lot of us saw this coming, which is why a lot of us had him picked. And it was a great week for Supercoach Challenges team, bringing him in and VC because he went his biggest score of the year. And we got a big VC from that. But he is only 37% picked. So there are quite a lot of coaches who are running against him. He is getting quite expensive, but he has a very good run coming up. And this was something I was saying last week. He has a very nice run coming up, which is why we got him in. And I still think he is very much worth getting in. I don't think Hawthorn are going to put much pressure on him. And I think he's still great to get in. Next is Clary. Looking at Clary, he has quite a high break even now, 163, I think. He is playing against North, but he has another bad game. He's probably losing another 30 to 40. Whereas if he goes 160, you're probably losing $1 or $2 grand. I would probably wait on him and try and sweep him up next week, assuming he is not injured. God forbid, but we've seen the carnage that has been occurring. Tommy Liberatore is the next one, and you know what? For a 4.2% picked player, he's been playing, ridiculously well. 117.8 average. He's really just getting all that mid-time he wants now, especially with Dunkley now at Brisbane. And I think he is a great pod, to be honest. He's kind of shown he can score well, and he's got a 3-rounder of 127.3. The concussion is going to keep him out this week, so if you do want to wait, you can, because the isn't going to go anywhere, and could be quite the pod to have, especially. And as I said, Bulldogs have a nice run, so could be a good one to get in. Now, Sam Walsh, obviously missed the start of the year with the injury. Whether he's gotten over that, we don't know fully, but we assume he has. He's been scoring quite well. But you think Carlton have to kind of change the way they're playing. But I guess no other midfielders have really been standing around him. I don't love the injury how that I still feel like it's over him. But you can do a lot worse. And they've got West Coast this week. And could be quite a big score coming. But a few players have come back in Doherty and Sard, who are going to chew up some points as well. So maybe just wait and see. He's only 0.7% owned, so would be a great pod. 117 average, so he won't go up a huge amount if he does score big. But yeah, still keep thinking about him. Caleb Sarong. I can't really say it's a surprise because I think we have known he could score like this, but a welcome one. 5.2% owned. People are jumping on him. Personally, to be fair, Fremantle haven't been playing well and he's been scoring well, but a lot of their midfielders haven't been scoring at all, and Sarong seems to be the only one that's standing up in there. You just have to look at Brayshaw, but maybe Brayshaw's injured, and that's why he's been playing bad. I think that's Sarong shown enough. It's just hard going on these breakout midfielders who are having their first good year. You only have to look at LDU, who dropped the first 2 150s and then hasn't really been playing well since. Now, that could be injury affected, but I think that from he is M6 at the moment. It's probably M5 if you don't include Walsh. So, and at 5.2% owned, you could probably do a lot worse. But I think Fremantle do have a bit of a rough run coming ahead. So, maybe, you know what? If you want him, go for him. Still priced under 600. So there's still probably a bit of value there compared to the guys above him. And, it could be quite the pod because people are talking about him, but not talking about him to jump on like they are a few of these other guys. LDU, I know what's wrong with the bloke. When I watched his first his first game especially, he just looked bloody unreal. He was just running around the midfield with the ball on string. He just looked like he had so much time, kind of like Scott Pendlebury-esque. Obviously, that slowed down a bit with injuries. So maybe I'd say don't trade him in now. He's going to lose money. I think he's got quite a big break even this week. So maybe wait it out and see what he's doing with his health, because at the moment it's not looking great. DeGoey, what a man. I personally can't say go yes on DeGoey, because last year, for example, he just wrecked me. Absolutely wrecked me. Showed glimpses of being able to do this and then would consistently go 70s. Collingwood are winning and he does look like a new player this year. So maybe just pick him off that. 13% owned, so it's not necessarily like no one has got him. So you do have a little bit of protection there, but at the same time, maybe give him another couple games and then pick him up at 560, 570, where we've got a little bit more data. But I mean, you can't argue with this 3-round average of 115, and some of it has been against good opponents, has it? Yeah, like Geelong 130, Brisbane 107. See, you've got this Port game, which is 84. And, Geelong didn't play great at the start of the year. And, I mean, they did get flogged in that Brisbane game. So to see him score well in that is probably good. I think they got flogged. Yeah, they did. So, that is some good news, but I'm personally staying away from DeGoey even at 530k. Roy Led. Now there is an injury cloud around Led, so I would probably not pick him this week. I think he's got he's a 103 break even. So that's actually quite good. But there is an injury cloud. He could be a laid out. So if you are going to pick him, you need to watch for that game. When do they play? Do they play early? I don't think they do. I think they play like a mid-Saturday game. So players. Oh, they play the last game. So like that's so risky, because you can't even you won't find out probably till the start of the game, I'm sensing from what Nix has been saying. And at that point it's like, probably just give it a week, because that could ruin you at the end, or have a good emergency. If you have a good emergency, maybe you can roll that dice. Lockie Neal had a bad week, which is quite interesting, because it was actually against quite a bad matchup, bad team in GWS. They weren't even tagging him. I watched the whole game. They were not going, no real pressure being put on Neal. So that's a bit scary. But we saw what Bontempelli did to Fremantle last week. And this is a revenge game for Neal. But he did play pretty bad. But last time at the Gabby, he had a 171 against Fremantle. So that looks like it was during COVID. They didn't play in 2021. Oh, maybe he's injured. But yeah, you can wait on him. He has got, it's only 111, but that's probably because of that 170 that's in the price cycle, which will roll out next week. So maybe in 3 weeks' time. But Brisbane do have a pretty good run. So if you want to jump on him, you could. At least he's not got injury clouds like some of these other guys have. So yeah, kind of up to you. Josh Kelly, I still love the guy as a pickup. GWS do have a bit of a hard run, and it probably does last up to just before their bye by the looks. Round 12 seems to be where it really opens up for them, other than Melbourne. So maybe wait till then. Probably the right choice to do with Kelly at this point. And then you might actually have a little bit less chance of being injured as well. Paddy Cripps, really gone under the radar this year. I think it's because Carlton haven't been quite playing as well as they did last year. He has been scoring all right, but isn't, tearing it up. Had a 130 last week, which is nice. Maybe Walsh back in the team is going to help him a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just Champion Data seem to have kind of changed their scoring a little bit this year. Maybe that's kind of gone away from the contested balls a little bit, and moving towards to a bit of that free ball. But I'm personally a skip on Cripps this year, and really just can't see it changing for me. McRae, one that I do like the look of. I think that if Bevo, especially this week, he's going to get a lot of mid time with Libba being out. And I think if Bev plays him in the midfield, he is going to score big. He's actually scored really well considering that the role that keeps changing and not quite getting the CBAs he wants. He's got a 3-rounder of 115, which is very nice. And he doesn't have injury issues right now. So that's also something good. Adam Treloar, I think the 3-round average says it all for Adam Treloar. 500k price, but that 97 is probably the reason why. So I'd just stay away from injury prone as well. We don't need that in an injury-ridden year. Dak Merritt, really big trade tag and should be for most people coming up, but not right now. Wait until he gets through this Geelong, Port, Brisbane run, and then probably round 10 Richmond, West Coast, North, Carlton, Fremantle. That's a nice 5 games. Even Port, Adelaide could be quite good. And his back end also actually looks quite nice with West Coast, North, GWS, and Collingwood. So that should be good as well. Scrolling down. Quickly talking about Petrarca. Melbourne have a good run. Petrarca has shown very high ceilings, but really very low floors. And probably is a bit of a value pick at 576k. Obviously was priced 42k above this, so he is a bit of a bargain at the moment. Dangerfield, I think this is an interesting pod pick. Danger has shown, Danger, we all know who Danger is. If you watch footy, you know Danger is a good scorer for Supercoach, and he is a great player overall. 3-round average is 127, just shows that. The problem is he is a bit older. Will his body kind of break down? Maybe the slow start to the season is what he's needed. And Geelong have a very good run coming up. So, maybe jump on Danger and then flip him at the buys if you have the luxury of the trades. But it'd be a very nice pod that I don't think a lot of people are going to be courageous enough to bring in. But I think that if you look at the players around him at the same price range, and if you got him for 80k cheaper than this as well, pretty hard to kind of not say yes to him. And he's got a break even of 50, which he's definitely going to make. So, he should definitely make. So you could make some money off him as well. Maybe not 150k, but 80k could make a difference. I don't like the Tim Kelly pick. Never has got to the highs of when he was at Geelong. Tom Mitchell is dropping money. When he gets to the bottom, it could be nice. But I just don't think he's in that role at Collingwood where he's going to get a lot of ball. Jaden Short, if he gets a defender status, will be very nice as a DPP down the line, especially if we get to see this role continue. Otherwise, Callum Mills is probably the only one, and Noah Anderson to a degree with 2 count now. So Callum Mills, if we see a role change with these defenders coming back in and him getting more CBAs, he's probably he started the year at 90k more expensive than this, and I think that you have to actually consider him, especially if those scores start to turn around. But with the break even of 122, we do have a while to wait. Noah Anderson, on the other hand, is priced lower than he started at. Did show in the back end of the year that he could average, I think he was averaging like around 110, 115. I thought it was going to be the year for him to step up. Wasn't at the start, but maybe now with Gold Coast run, like Richmond, easy to score midfield, like you can see with his 150 last year. Melbourne, you can, as a midfielder, you can actually score quite well against. West Coast, who knows what they're going to put up, but that could be really good. And then he's got Brisbane, which is a derby, so you never know. Players turn up for that type of game. Then Dogs, that's a hard midfield, but Adelaide, Carlton, Hawthorn, could score quite well. And those two are Darwin games, so that would be very interesting. Another one is Brayshaw. Now, if Brayshaw starts to miss some games because there is a lot of injury talk around him, he could also be one that we look at picking up later in the year. It just needs to turn around for him. I think he's been a bit unlucky. He has been getting quite a bit of the ball. It just hasn't been turning into Supercoach scores. He's now 90k price below what he was. He's got quite a quick, big break even. We could be going to get him out of under 500k, which would be very nice. And he can turn that around. As we know, money's going to be an issue this year. So I wouldn't write him off just yet. Now we go to our let's just look at the bubble in general. I didn't do this in the defenders game, but we will do it here. Now, Xavier Halloran is a very interesting rookie. I don't think anyone's going to really be brave enough to go there. But he really showed good game last week. So, at 200k, like you can get a guy like Angwin in a week's time if he keeps playing well. So probably skip O'Halloran. Sam Simpson, now he's on extended bench. Did Geelong have a Sunday game? I think they have a Sunday game, so I'm not doing that. All right, I think they have a Sunday game, so yeah, you could definitely pick him. But 166, I'd probably leave it. Chincotta another week. Wagner wasn't picked. Why did this log out? Bugger it, we'll leave that. Otherwise, Angwin looks like an interesting pick for next week. And I don't know that there were any other players that were picked to debut this week. So I think out of them, he's probably the one to go for, being Chincotta next week, and then maybe Angwin if you have two downgrades you want to do. Otherwise, doesn't look like there's much else here. We got many players that have played one. Davies could get a run at some point due to the injury with Took, but I don't think he's been picked this week. I mean, Bailey Laurie's going to definitely go down by the looks. Looks like this is now just not going to load at all. That's all right. And going back to what we were saying before, probably with the number one player to get in, if you don't have them, I would probably say it's not Bontempelli because he's probably priced a little bit too high, but then again, he could keep going. I'd probably be looking around at Zach Merritt can wait. Hard one. Maybe, yeah, but Libba's out. It's a hard choice in the midfield. I'd say you can't go wrong with him. Even Neil, the 70s kind of put him on the wait list a little bit. Yeah, it's a hard midfield pick. Just gonna reload so I can kind of have a look. Thank you for logging me out for no apparent reason. Love that. Oh, press login and you'll go back there. Sorry about this, but looking at the midfield then, yeah, it's a real hard year, isn't it? There's just so many injury clouds or just questions to be asked, I'd say. Like, I'm kind of liking McRae. You know what? I'm liking McRae. If Libba was playing, I'd say Libba. But for this week, McRae could be one to get on. He's going to get CBAs but with the Libba out, and he could probably go big. And if he does play well, maybe they'll just keep him in the midfield. Other than that, Zach Merritt in another week or two, same as Darcy Parish, can probably add him into that list. And otherwise, Laird is there, especially if he misses this week, because it will probably mean that he's going to be nice and fit for a week's time. Clary, 1 or 2 weeks, you can probably wait on and then get him in. So at the moment, I'm going to say probably biggest trade target. I just look, I don't love what Bevo does, but McRae is just such a good player, and he like even with the bad role, he showed he can score. So you know what, go McRae or as an option just because of their schedule. Like the schedule is very good. Um, Otherwise, Bont, if you don't have Bont, probably just get him in at 650. He's got a really low break even, so unless you want to be paying 690 for him, you have to get him in this week. So yeah, actually, let's go Bont number one. You're paying a little bit extra, but it's only 16.5k over what he was originally priced at anyway. And then go McRae, and then you know what? Go Sarong. Sarong, or I mean Neil. You could probably go based on schedule because they have a very nice schedule as well. But he should lose. It looks like he's going to lose like 24k round 8. So if you don't want to wait, but otherwise he should score well through these next 6. It looks like even 7, 8, 9. No, even up to here around 17, they are all very easy teams to score against. So anyway, if you're still stuck around, as I said at the start, give us a follow, give us subscribe, give us a like on the video, and thanks for watching if you got this far. Hopefully you got some insight from this. I know there's a lot of rambling, but the midfield's actually a really hard position to pick at the moment compared to like maybe defense and forward where it's kind of a little bit more clear. I think that like Oliver, Laird, guys like that are going to be guys we want in, but it's just hard to pick them at the moment with what's going on with them a little bit and their prices, especially Oliver's. So anyway, hope you got a bit out of this, and we'll see you in the next vid.